Welcome back. If you thought I was finished with that splitter, I was clearly not. We did have some clear coat on there, and now we've got clear coat with a matting agent in it, which is awesome except for the fact it shows up all the defects a lot worse than gloss, which is unexpected. Underneath it's very, very shiny. This is, she's pretty low. She's pretty damn low. I don't, you can't really even see that, but that's shiny. And the problem, it is quite low. I've got some special ramps leaning against the wall there, and they were made to help me get onto the other ramps to get it onto the trailer, and those just clear under that by about 10 millimeters. So I don't know what happens when I sit my fat ass in there, and then it drives even with any pace at all. So yes, I'm going to talk about that in a second. So that worked out a little bit heavier by the time I made it look pretty. So cosmetics costs weight, as you'd expect. It's about 5 kgs now, so we're just a little bit under 3 kgs lighter than the original setup. That's okay. It's still lighter, and it's actually bigger, and it's much, much stronger. I'm not going to stand on that with my boots. Hang on. What do we got? That's probably the one, isn't it? The moment of truth. Oh, it's bloody slippery. There you go. Both feet. Big fat glen in there, and that's actually the front of the car, came down more than the splitter. Big fat glen, 93 kgs, all centered in the middle there at the worst possible spot, the least support. It's got more support out here where we put those brackets in, so if it takes that, it'll take driving on the track. Couple of things we need to delete off the front of the car. We need to delete that. I didn't put any plastic primer on when I painted this top section of the bumper, and it stayed on there for a while until it must have been a stone chip or something. It got a little bit of air under it when I was blowing the dust off with the air gun. So never mind. That's not the end of the world. Headlights. These things keep going yellow. They are, what's this? This is 2004 or something like that. So they are 20 years old, and they're out in the harsh New Zealand UV light. You can polish them up and they come up all right, but there's a bunch of, can you see it? Yeah, you can see that. Bunch of crazing going on. No matter how much you polish or clear coat over that, that will not go away. And the other side here has got a crack, and you can't, there's nothing you can do about that. So new headlights are 160 bucks each or something like that, thereabouts. There's some fancier ones that are black around here and black inside there, except for the reflector. You can get those fancier, some more aftermarket looking ones. You can get those from overseas, and they're, I'm not sure if it's 300-400 bucks or something like that. But we have some technology that we can potentially use. On the roof here, this has got clear coat with a little bit of black in it, and it just gives a little bit nicer look. I think I did the same on this one, maybe not. It just makes it look a little bit fancier and a little bit more expensive. There's definitely some black in the clear coat on the splitter there, because you can barely see the pattern until you get the right, get close enough with the right angle, etc. So what I'm going to do is some clear coat with some black, and put more on in this general area here, and just make this all much, much darker. You'll still be able to see through it a little bit, and just a bit over the lens just to tone it down. I may even put some matte in there and see how we go with that, see how it looks. I think that will make the front of it look a lot nicer. I haven't done the end plates on the splitter yet, by the way. I'm aware of that. Now that there, you'll remember that. Pukekohe come flying over the top of the hill onto the main straight at a couple 100 k's an hour. Everything was going pretty good. I was having a pretty good day, and then oh, is that something on the track? It is something on the track. On the brakes, which might have been the wrong thing to do, but there's no time to react. You don't know what it is or how tall it is. If I hadn't hit the brakes, it possibly would have gone right underneath the car without any issues. There were some bases from some cones that someone else driving like an idiot had hit and left on the track before and I came along before the guys organising it could do anything about it. Boom, destroyed the front of the car, bumper and splitter and intercooler radiator. So I haven't had the money that I wanted to spend replacing that radiator, and it's been okay until now. I kind of pooed it up with a little bit of silicone and ignored it, and it's been all right. But this morning, taking it down off the jacks and a little bit of puddle of intercooler coolant, which is just water with a little bit of antifreeze to reduce the corrosion, came trickling out from the bumper, so off the top of the splitter. So that actually is going to need sorting out, which is going to cost me a few $100 for a radiator, and I'm going to say it's going to be about 6-7 hours of time. Didn't really want to be doing that right now, but probably we'll have to sort that before we use the car in case it decides to open up and just dump a bunch of coolant all over the front tyres and then you die. So, well, maybe not die, but you could. So today we'll do the headlights. I'm not going to do the radiator today. Let's put some radiator stop leak in it maybe. Should we do that? It could still open up. You could die. I could die. You could die. I could go somersaulting over the fence and land on top of you. So doom and gloom is not likely to happen, is it? The worst is likely to happen is it's going to trickle out a little bit and it might be a little bit sketchy under braking somewhere, and then we'll be like, oh, what's going on here? And check it, and that's the end of the track day. Let's do the headlights. Shall I just film from back here and not show you up close? It actually, it looks all right from a distance. It's almost worst case scenario. I totally expected it. There's a bit of a reaction going on with, I gotta get it right, there you go. You can see that with the plastic and the paint. And I kind of expected that, which is why I sort of had a scope around to suss out what headlights were worth and all that sort of carry on. Everyone's going to be an expert and tell me I've done it all wrong and all that sort of carry on. Look, there's probably a different type of paint that I could have used that may not have reacted with the plastic. But this is the paint that I've got and I wanted to use, and I wanted just to basically get a scope of, or get a feel of how that's going to look with that sort of style. It's not exactly the same as the aftermarket ones, but I mean, from here, I think that looks bloody cool. That looks much better. I can't back up far enough. Somebody put a hoist in the way. Yeah, I mean, headlights aren't that expensive. They're not that critical, and unless people are being mega fussy, they're not going to be that close to pick holes in that. This will matte off some more. It's glossy now, which will make it look worse actually. As we've found with this, any small defects actually look a lot worse when it's matte than what it did when it was gloss. Gloss tended to hide it. Look, I'm not going to say I'm happy with that, but I'm not horribly disappointed. That needs to be matte too now, doesn't it? And actually that's crooked. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't, but I looked at a picture the other day and I was like, to me that looks crooked. And those of you, now that I've said it and you're looking hard, you'll see it as well. That corner is too far towards the center line compared to that corner, and actually there's the same thing in the opposite going on at the top. That corner is too far that way, and that corner is too far that way as well. The whole thing's kind of like skewed that way a little bit. So I have been thinking about integrating that into the bonnet rather than making it a separate piece. Or I could just very carefully fettle the edges of it and maybe shift the rivets and try and hide that and straighten it out. It's never ending, right? So you have a sort of a car and it's sat there at a certain point, And then you get clever and you're like, I'm gonna fix something. And so you get in there and you make that look better, and then instantly the piece that's next to that looks like crap. And then you fix that, and then the next piece looks like crap. This is why cars end up going in the garage to get a few things done, and they just never come out. They're in there for 20 years. That's how that happens. It all snowballs. Everything snowballs. Let's fix an exhaust system. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Speaking of exhaust systems, I'll get back onto that this week. We've just had dyno bookings in December, so I've had twiddling thumbs time because we can't get in any other work until those are done, so it's just the way it goes. Yeah, that radiator. If there is anyone watching that has contacts in the radiator industry, yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Unlikely. Never mind. I've spent way too much time out here today. But, I mean, it's kind of semi-therapeutic. This one's stuffed like it always was. It's had a big crack in it. It's now got some crazing below the crack, and a bit over there. That will actually, if I sand it that, wet and dry, that will actually come away, and so will that, but there's no point. If we're prepared to accept that big crack in there that's been there for 7 years, then the rest of it we can just deal with. You can't see it with your eyes from about here. So about a metre or two away, and it's kind of doesn't matter anymore anyway. There's some other defects on it. If you look hard enough, I've tried to give it a bit of a polish. It's way too early to polish it, but that's fine. That's a lot of flat in that clear, so it's never going to be glossy, and that was what I wanted. This one's come up a whole heap better. There's a little bit here which will clean up if I want, and I may do that later. A little bit there as well. Not sure what the deal is there. Some sort of, maybe that's a crack in the top of it, and the rest of it's, you know, it's pretty acceptable. It's better than some of the things, some of the discrepancies on the bonnet, which is now looking, it's pretty much, as I pointed out before, the vent on here is a bit crooked, and it's the shabbiest thing on the front of the vehicle now. So yeah, great success. They're still stuffed, but now they look better. I've got to do some end plates, but it's time to go and play Lego with the little one, I think. Do something different for the rest of the afternoon. It's looking good, eh? For what it is, it's not bad. Thanks for watching this far, you bloody legends. Coming up soon, tune videos for R33 GTR and a Z32 300 ZX, and I don't know if we've got some time, maybe throw the March back on there and wind it up a little bit more. It's only 1,050 horsepower at the engine. Might as well go for a solid 850 or something at the hubs, or dare I say it, 900? Because could we push it at 900? No, it'll break. Let's not break it.